It's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. Off your mind,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over Naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego the politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my ego, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my ego diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun la wa mo la mo dodododo. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun la wa mo la mo dodododo. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary, diary politico. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o, kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tójódodo. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. bójó bá rúfin o Máyégún máa ní àní ẹ̀sùn rájú Máyégún ti.
Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Máyégún live. So thank you so much for joining me, brethren, dear Templars. Please, after reading the caption of this broadcast, liking the broadcast, sharing it, don't forget to read the description of the broadcast as well. So in this order, read the caption, read the description, like the broadcast, share it. And you won't have to do all of that again if you can do it from the start. But usually people just join and they just kind of like delve straight into it. And they would have to be reminded of like the broadcast. Please, guys, like the broadcast, guys. A little bit embarrassing sometimes because people are so conservative when it comes to them liking the broadcast. But if you have done that already, thank you. Tonight, we are delving into a lot as usual. And we are going to be doing it one after the other. The huge part of tonight is going to be on the two fighting case between Reno Mockery and Kaduna Littlefinger, Hell-rufire. Hell-rufire is famous for one thing. He is famous for being controversial. Then he is also famous for being the point man in our discovery of those who brought back the Fulani terrorists into Nigeria using the system of government that was supposed to protect Nigerians, or rather used in decimating them. The people of Southern Kaduna will never forget El-Rufai in their lifetime. His role in sponsoring the terrorism, the Fulani terrorism in Southern Kaduna, an act that throughout his 8 years as governor of Kaduna, he was able to pay influencers on social media to counterattack those who came out to share their experiences as they happened in Southern Kaduna. Unfortunately, those he paid back then when he was governor to justify the killings in Southern Kaduna, the terrorism there, majority of them have switched sides today. They can no longer defend him. And therefore, Hell-rufire is now an IDP, internally displaced politician. And as for Reno Mockery, he seems to be a sycophant for hire. He himself did all he could to join the wagon of the exposers of the terrorism in Nigeria under Buhari. He was once an appointee of Goodluck Egbere Jonathan. Then when he was sacked by Jonathan, Reno Mockery resorted into an online, he called himself a table shaker, by the way. There's nothing he didn't call himself, but he managed to build himself a profile for through Leah Sharibu, one of the Dapchi girls kidnapped by Boko Haram that they kept for themselves. way back then. So the story of these two charlatans is not new. So is their fight. But they seems to be fighting for, different cause. And this time around, it's about patronage. Throughout the murderous 8 years of Warri Reno Mockery pretended to be a pro-Nigerian and the supporter of, what is good. However, it didn't take real long before he got a call from the same man. He once told us he went to Chicago to investigate, and in fact, he never went to Chicago State University. Also, that the man that Reno Mockery is defending today was actually a drug dealer, a drug baron, something that internet never forgets. But yeah, it seems that in their politics in Nigeria, as they say, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests. Their story is so similar. So that is why I'm going to be going back and forth between them. Okay, tonight, I am a storyteller. And if you are new on Mayegun's Diary Politico, well, you would have to get used to it, okay? So the last time, which was last night, I saw someone's comment who was trying to, I bet that person is new, because that's the only reason why somebody would tell me to be civil when I am talking about the criminals in Nigeria. You see, when people want to be politically correct, they will tell you that you don't need to insult them. You can deliver your message without being insulting and the rest of that. So when people send me that kind of a comment, I automatically just believe that maybe they are among those who just stumbled on this channel on YouTube, and they just felt like it is irritating to be calling people names, to be insulting them, stuffs like that. So I am therefore going to quickly give us a reminder. I appreciate all of you who joined Mayegun's Diary Politico on YouTube for whatever reason that got you interested in this channel. Okay? But this place is called Temple of Truth. Mayegun's Diary Politico. Except if you are a closet supporter of the criminals in charge of Nigeria, those criminals, you will never take any offense in how I address them. You are right. I could be civil. Like I could still kind of deliver my message without being insulting, like you said. But except you are a supporter of all these bad guys, you will never take offense. So I chose not to respect them. Do you understand? I chose not to respect them. I coined all these names for those rogues in that contraption. And if you do not have any bit of flair for them, you will never be offended. But if you are offended, I understand. You may be among the Ronu coups, the Ronu Nazis, the Ronu bandits, the Yoruba Ponus, the Oshogbo Alimanjeris, the Lagos Abobakus, the crumb eaters, the ass lickers, the crumb chasers, the all-risers. You see, all these guys are they are from the clans of the Bat Idiot, the Warri Idiot, the Bat Star, So I do not have any respect for you, okay? On Mayegun's Diary Politico, I do not play political correctness, all right? So don't worry about me. Worry about yourselves. So in your own warped mind, do not come here to correct me how I address these criminals. They are criminals, and that is why in the world of today, anybody that feels slighted or libeled, right? You can easily sue me. Do you understand? So, and listen, I also know those I am addressing. That's why I call their names. if you are not one of them, you shouldn't be offended, you know. And if you kind of feel offended, well, maybe that simply means I'm actually achieving what I want to achieve, because it seems to be, well, I have been in this for a while, and yeah, getting people mad seems to be one of my very good creative side as well. So you should never be offended, no matter what language I used in addressing these Olori Brukus. So my platform is not really for everyone. So don't come here to try to be politically correct with me. It won't work. Okay, it will actually encourage me to do it more, to get you more madder. The criminals we are addressing are heartless. These are cold criminals, destiny killers, dream killers, you know, career criminals that don't give a hoot about you. They don't give a hoot about anybody but themselves. So it is only in that contraption, like Nigeria, that you will see the voluntary slaves respecting their slave masters, their oppressors, or demanding that they should be respected, or even praying for them. On Mayegun's diary political, our effort is to, you know, possibly like reformat the brains of a lot of us, whether you are young or old. Don't demand respect for criminals in charge of Nigeria, from Thiefnubu to the rest of them. Don't ever demand respect for them. Don't give them any. And if you are already a voluntary slave, whether you are an Abrodian Ronuku, Abrodian bad idiot, Abrodian bastard, it still never change anything. Because we do know on this platform as well that there are some of you that were taken out of the contraption, Nigeria. They didn't take Nigeria out of you. In fact, some of you are the key problems. The slow clog, I mean, the clog in the wheel of progress, of liberating the minds of a lot of people. Where you live in a society where everything works. Or you prefer the contraption to remain as it is, so that at least out of 100 blind people, one-eyed man can be their leader, you know? So we have sorted all of that. So if you are new on Mayegun's diary political, and somehow you get offended the way I address these guys, well, there's nothing you can do about it, okay? So you can turn yourself to anything. You shall collect as well. And I do advise people, I say, listen, no, you shouldn't be watching Mayegun's diary political. If you have any kind of love or respect for the Olori Brukus destroying Nigeria, all right, you shouldn't, for your own mental health. Because my mouth's not really good. My mouth is not that good. Okay, I can get you mad right there. That even the people inside your house will begin to ask you, "What is wrong? What is wrong, ma? What is wrong, sir?" I can get you that mad. Yeah, and by your comment, I shall know as well. Right? So, 2 years ago, in fact, let's start from the beginning. When these guys, I'll start with Hell-rufire, do not little finger. They launched a never seen before propaganda campaign against Goodluck Ebere Jonathan. He was called so many names: a drunkard, clueless, brainless, a thief. There was no name they didn't call him. And they ensured that all those names stuck. And they gave life to those names. So that everybody that comes, when you see the image of Jonathan, you see the image of a clueless man, a drunkard, an incompetent, guy, if the son of a fisherman or a boat repairer, to the point that people couldn't wait to get rid of him. They were threatening. They even threatened him that if he dared stay a day longer in that state, he will be chased out and it will cause civil war. There was nothing they didn't say. They had all this free will. Internet doesn't forget. Then they got the power. And they automatically turned speaking against government into a crime. And people were actually locked up. People were exiled. They looted. They looted and looted and looted. They brought terrorism upon Nigeria. They killed and killed and killed. But you dare not say it. People paid supreme prices. Democracy turned to demonstration of grace, militocracy. This APC, Egbekegbe, that used the same social media to bully a sitting president to oblivion, became, they actually burned the bridge, and it became a crime to condemn or even criticize the APC, Egbekegbe. So, it was going on well for them. They were destroying Nigeria, but they were blaming other people for it. They were dividing Nigeria. They were blaming other people for it. They were done. Out of power, suddenly, the same El-Rufai is back. In fact, you know what? Let's start from there. Gone are the days, well, back in the days, this was El-Rufai 9 years, 10 years ago, 2014.
This government is incapable of doing anything. Even if you ask them to eat food, they will not do it competently. They are so incompetent that they speak in ways and manners that really has reduced Nigeria to a laughingstock in the world. Who is APC? Who in APC will arrange the abduction of girls? To what end? To what purpose? They should come out, and if they are the government, if they know anyone, if Nasir El-Rufai is involved, what are they waiting for? Arrest me and prosecute me. But they are all a bunch of liars. They only know how to point fingers at anyone. They don't know how to govern. Instead of sitting down and solving problems, they point fingers at other people. They blame others to divert attention from their incompetence. The primary responsibility of any government is to provide security. They have failed woefully. Instead of focusing on it, they are blaming people. Who is behind the abduction? Who is behind terrorism in APC? You are the government. You have security agencies. You have intelligence agencies. You have the army. You have the police. We have courts. What are you waiting for?
And then
what are they waiting for?
There have also been accusations that you are the party APC, being the biggest opposition party so far in Nigeria, so as we speak right now, is taking advantage or exploring advantage of the fact that there's terrorist crisis in the country, and you're exploring that.
Why shouldn't
score political points?
What is we are in opposition? Are we supposed to let a government that has become so incompetent will be praising them and say that, oh, terrorism is happening, Jonathan is doing nothing, well done Jonathan? Are we supposed to do that? We are in opposition. Our job is to look at even good things that they are doing and say they are not doing it well. That is the job of opposition. So we have no apologies for pointing out to Nigerians that this government is incompetent and has failed to provide security. If you say we are politicizing it, fix the problem so that we can't politicize it. Okay? Are we politicizing breathing of air? Every Nigerian can breathe air. We can't politicize it because there is no problem there. But if you fail to supply petroleum products and we say you are failing, you say we are politicizing it. Fix the problem so that we don't politicize it. If you say that there is terrorism, we are politicizing it, eliminate terrorism. 5 years ago, nobody is talking about terrorism in Nigeria. Under Jonathan, it has become an industry. And we should not take advantage of their failings so that we secure the votes of Nigerians in the next elections. There must be something wrong with them. We have made suggestions to the government on how to improve security. They have ignored it. They have set up 5 different committees that have given them recommendations how to address this problem of terrorism in the last 3 years. They have not implemented one. They are incompetent. But they try to blame other people.
So at this stage that we are right now with terrorism in Nigeria, what do you think is the solution, especially on how to rescue the girls?
Look, the government has the solution to this problem. Several committees have given them recommendations. They should just implement the recommendations in their drawer. Okay? As for rescuing the girls, we have seen examples of what countries do when this situation happens. You should have military action on the one hand and negotiation on the other hand. You should not foreclose anything because the lives of your citizens are at risk and you don't want to lose one life. You don't want to lose the life of one person. You don't want to lose the life of 250 girls. So whatever it takes to rescue those girls, should be done. If one of these girls was Jonathan's daughter, the story will be different. The only reason why these girls are still in captivity is because they are not the daughter of any important man in Nigeria, and we know it. And if you say I'm politicizing terrorism, go and rescue the girls so that I don't have a basis to politicize it.
So are you in support of?
And for clarity, they were actually the ones that kidnapped the Chibok girls. And it worked. The girls, some of them who later got rescued, said all the while that Nigerians were asking for them. Free Chibok girls, free Chibok girls. They were in Maiduguri. In a politician's house, they said they will be hearing the hovering helicopters. And whenever the helicopters are approaching the compounds, they will tell them to quickly run in. They will quickly rush them inside. They divided them into about 5, all the girls in Maiduguri. And who was the governor? Then the current vice president of Nigeria, Shettima, was the governor. Who was the minister for education when the girls were kidnapped? The current FCT minister, Warri Wike. Warri Wike wrote a letter. They said they received an intel that the Boko Haram were planning to conduct a mass kidnapping of school children during their Wike examinations. Because of that, they said all the schools in Maiduguri, secondary schools, where the children were sitting for their Wike examinations, should be moved to Maiduguri. All the schools in Borno State should be moved to the state capital, Maiduguri, for adequate security. The girls in Chibok, right? Shettima wrote back and said, logistically, it will be impossible to move all of them to Maiduguri, but they have provided security. And the children will be fine. So, on the night when the girls were to be kidnapped, the school headmistress, whose own child was supposed to be sitting as well for the examination, was excused from the dormitory. And then the Boko Haram came and they took all the girls. And while the girls were taken, the same Shettima, the governor never alerted the federal agencies, the federal agents, and say, we have a kidnapping activity going on. To the point that the children were taken, and until the following day, when the news now broke that they've kidnapped school children in Chibok, there are hundreds of school children have been kidnapped. Borno state government, under Shettima, issued a statement that it was fake news. It wasn't true. Similarly, the same message was passed on to Egbere Jolantan, that there was no missing girls. So which means they gave the terrorists enough time to take the girls, redistribute them. And yes, he is right. Good luck, Egbere Jolantan. Pretty much like treated it so much with levity, and maybe not totally blamed for it, because if people said, no, there is no kidnapping, and you gave the terrorists 24 hours to move the girls before you finally now said, yes. I don't know if some of you still remember this, that they actually said they've rescued them at some point for 2 days before they finally admitted that, yes, there's been a kidnapping. And immediately, Hell-rufire, Shettima, and the APC criminals, terrorists, they started granting different press interviews. Shettima even cried. And what did they tell the press? Jonathan did not say, he did not do anything. He did not come to support them. He did not even he didn't even care. And that worked, you know. So the likes of Reno Mockery, Wendell Simlin, is that what his name? The identity of a woman that he stole. But Showore knows him better. Showore, who was when they're Simlin?
I met the mother. I interviewed her. I put it out. That's the evidence. And the woman said, yes, Reno Mockery is an identity thief. When Reno Mockery sent soldiers to the mother's house to eject somebody from their house in Warri or so, I got the information. I put it out to the report. I said, in fact, it led to him being fired by Jonathan. Because most people did not know that Reno Mockery did not complete his tenure with Jonathan. Jonathan fired him towards the election because of a lot of criminal activities he was engaging in. Reno Mockery claims to be an Amazon bestseller. Can you just find out how many books he's selling? What's the name of the book? So I'm not personalizing it. I'm just telling you that I am an evidence-based person. If he says, so look, there's no need engaging in emotional conversations. But you know, all the political leaders in this country have their own supporters. Even if you look today, there are people who still support Abacha.
So like I said, I'm a storyteller. So if you have time, just sit back and be following it step by step, because we are going somewhere with this. So who are those around Jonathan as governor? The likes of Doyin Okuigbe, the likes of Reno Mockery when they're Simlin, who rather engage in falsehood or an attempt to deviate conversation, or outright a falsehood. This was their stock in trade. Unfortunately, it was around the time that the social media influence was sort of growing. So it's easier for people to easily get deceived. So APC, Ebekebe, used that to the fullest. Okay? So Jonathan stood no chance. He was totally hated. And it worked for them. So at the end of the day, the Chibok girls, which was first of its kind in Nigeria, mass kidnapping of children, APC, Ebekebe, started it. And they leveraged on it so well. Kidnapping of school children, all for power. So they got the power. Eventually, Jonathan was bullied out of Aso Rock. And the likes of El-Rufai became governor. In the process, Bokwari became president, right? Shittiman became a senator. They were all compensated, they all rewarded. Amazing, like good stuff. And it was time for them to now prove what they claimed. They could do better. Suddenly, they introduced Fulani terrorists into the fray. And he, as a governor in Kaduna, the people of southern Kaduna, majorly Christians, right? They came under an organized ethnic cleansing, mass killings from the Fulani terrorists. After El-Rufai said he went all over West Africa to tell them that their brother is now in power, they can come back.
Check the records between August 2015, when we received the Agwai committee and began the outreach, until May, June 2016, there was not one incident of any such killing in southern Kaduna. So we felt that we were succeeding. We felt that we had got the transhumans out of the equation and can now focus on resolving the issues between local herdsmen and farmers, which is still an issue. Okay? But and yes, we offered them money. We said, look, if we have to pay you not to kill our people, we're happy to do it.
Is that the only solution that you're adopting, to pay them to stop the killing? That
is the only solution we can see. If anyone has a better solution, you should give us. If you have somebody in Guinea that you cannot prove is responsible for this, but you say, look, we apologize, this has happened. But it didn't happen in my time. Okay, I'm the governor now. This has happened. We apologize that you are caught up in our domestic issues. Have you lost cattle? We can pay. Have you lost lives? We can pay compensation. Compensation for lives and property has foundations even in the Quran and the Bible. Okay, so I don't understand why people would say, but what I said and what we tried to do was twisted, okay, by one newspaper largely, to say that I am paying herdsmen to kill. What we were trying to do was offering money to them to say, don't kill our people. And frankly, as the governor of the state, the life of every citizen of that state and his property is on my head. I will stand before God and be asked, what did you do to ensure that that person is not killed or his property destroyed? I am prepared to offer you money if you feel that you're offended and you are going to collect people to come and kill people. I'm prepared to offer you money not to do it. I have no apologies for that. But to twist that to say that, oh, El-Rufai is now paying herdsmen to kill, I think is most irresponsible. Now, in my opinion, and when you look at the history,
again, what they condemned Jonathan for got worse under Warri, specifically under this criminal, this little finger, the vile little man. That's what some people call him, a vile little man. He is so evil that the Fulani terrorism in southern Kaduna is so organized that they call it a jihad. They will kill people in their communities, send them to IDP camps. They will now take over the community. Hell-rufire, they will rename the communities. And this, you know, they commit this crime and they stay at the crime scene. El-Rufai said people were exaggerating it, that in fact, the Christians in southern Kaduna, that because of donation that the world was given to them, they did not want the crisis to end. He blamed them. They were burning churches. They were kidnapping Christian children. They are not kidnapping Muslim kids, so Christian children. Chibok is a Christian community. So they will kidnap them and then force them to convert to Islam. And these terrorists were protected. You see what he said about, we went about to beg them, somebody from Guinea. Guinea. Why should any Nigerian governor go to Guinea to appeal to Fulani that if you lost your cow in Kaduna, come back, your brother is governor now, we will pay you, we will compensate you. We are sorry that you are caught up in our local fight. What do you mean local fight? People resisted terrorists. They fought them off. But because they didn't have the government backing, they couldn't fight the locals. They were sent away from their lands. How dare you go about? He went everywhere up to the Central African Republic to go and bring back these terrorists, well armed. He said it. He said, we told them to come back. We are sorry. We are sorry that you are caught up in our local crisis. You know? And that is why Reno Mockery was saying, since El-Rufai, it was so bad, though. It was so bad that Kaduna, where you have more Christians than Muslims, El-Rufai and his gang, he dared them. He told them that Kaduna is an Islamic place where they have Sharia. Kaduna is an Islamic state. And therefore, they can have Muslim tickets in Kaduna, because what they used to do was that if the governor, if the governorship candidate is a Christian, his or a deputy will be Muslim. The governor is Muslim, his deputy will be Christian. That's how they have been mixing it. That same Kaduna that they are now making it look like it's a caliphate. So there are more Christians in Kaduna than Muslims, so by population. No? And this is a fact. But the likes of El-Rufai were bent in changing that. You know, to them, that can't be. That's impossible. How could anybody say that? Ask people who grew up in Kaduna in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, even in the early 2000s. They'll tell you. So to him, it won't be a bad idea to slaughter as many people as possible. It was like, you know, and that's why Reno Mockery said, since he left, have you heard about killings in southern Kaduna again? Well, the answer is no. But there was no single day that we were not receiving report of killings in southern Kaduna, kidnapping of, bishop, kidnapping of, this reverend father, that reverend father, or school children and all that. I'm talking about schools where those who are being mostly kidnapped, you know. So El-Rufai was so evil. He's like an evil personified. He even killed the paramount ruler of Adara Kingdom. Also, El-Rufai was so cold-hearted that for 8 years, his government was budgeting, right? As I mean, you say, people will tell you that he did so well in Kaduna, but go and ask the Kaduna people, they will tell you, well, maybe in northern Kaduna, where they did this, what do you call it, Shagbeloju or this shining projects, who are mostly like exaggerated as well, using the media. But go to southern Kaduna, southern Kaduna senatorial district, go there, and you'll think, man, God damn it, man, is this part of Kaduna as well? True story. He dared them in 2019. I was going to run a Muslim ticket. And the Christians are inconsequential. In fact, it was him that advised Thiefnubu that if Thiefnubu wanted enough to support him, he would need to pick a Muslim. And Muslim tickets must be pushed in Nigeria. And this is why you have Thiefnubu and Shittiman today. But we will get to that part. So El-Rufai, an evil personified, also never really liked Thiefnubu. To the point that there was a time he went to Lagos, and Ambode was governor then in 2018, 2017 or thereabout, right? And he bragged just like this.
We're in the same party. We get along very well, as far as I know.
Do you want him retired? He's the godfather of Lagos.
I don't know if he's the godfather of Lagos. It's up to him to say that. What I know for sure is that we have retired godfathers in Kaduna. And I have told those that asked me the question that there are 6 million registered voters in Lagos and only 1 million voted in the last election. So there are 5 million people that you can bring into the electoral playground, and you can defeat anyone if you work hard. But it's hard work. It's 4 years. That's what I said. Now, if anyone feels offended by that, that's his business or her business.
So you want Lagos to follow your template for retirement of government?
I have no recommendations to Lagos. Okay, I am the governor of Kaduna State. I know Kaduna politics pretty well, and I play my role in my party towards the overall success of the party. I have no recommendations for anyone. I'm just saying that if I'm asked a question and I give an answer, anyone that feels offended by the answer, this is all business. I have no apologies. I don't apologize for my views. My views are thought out and I put them there, and I don't have to explain anything to anyone. This is a democracy. In a democratic space, there must be room for people to express their views. You can disagree, you can abuse me if you don't like my views, but that's it.
So he went to Lagos and they said, how is he getting along with Thiefnubu? As a member of the same party, being the godfather of Lagos. And he said that. But somehow, whatever they plotted, in fact, this is now, it doesn't really matter anymore, okay? But this is what we heard at the time. As part of those who were plotting within the Buhari's government, this same El-Rufai was the one that advised Buhari to accept the change of money, the change of Naira that Emefiole embarked on that time. That to stop Thiefnubu, that Thiefnubu has stockpiled billions of Naira that was going to use to buy the election in 2023. That the best thing to do is to change the Naira. Force them to bring out the money, or just destroy it so that it will become useless. The intention at the time was to push, this may sound really ridiculous, right? But it is kind of like credible. The plan was to push that rubber stamp Lawan, first option. Second option, Yeye Bello of Kogi. So they were going to push these two, okay, to become the APC presidential candidate. Either of them. As much as it wasn't really going to fly, but they felt so powerful that they could do it prior to 2022. If you remember this, Thiefnubu was used and dumped by the same Buhari after 2015. That Thiefnubu had to leave Nigeria. How many of you remember that they started investigating Alpha, Beta, and Thiefnubu under Buhari? That Thiefnubu had to run away from Nigeria for 2.5 years until 2018, when they felt like everything was like no longer holding together. So they brought Thiefnubu back with the promise that he could have whatever he wants or wanted. And the only person they sacrificed at the time, well, maybe not the only person, but the first person they sacrificed for Thiefnubu then was Oyegun. Oyegun just won a new, like a new validation of election as their chairman, but he had to go. That was how Oshiomole became the APC, Ebekebe's national chairman. He was selected by Thiefnubu as part of the agreement that they will give him the party if they wanted him to work for Buhari's second term. And they called Thiefnubu reconciliator of APC. I don't know if you remember all of this, but that is not inconsequential, okay? It is actually very consequential to what, to where we are today, or where they are today, rather. So Thiefnubu got a hold of the party, but that was the only thing. That was not the only thing he got a hold of. He was able to get a hold of some of the agencies that were working for Buhari, including the EFCC, to the point that they had to also sacrifice Maguluta Kruku. You remember him, Magu? The EFCC criminal that you don't hear from him anymore, right? It was also somehow got bought over by Thiefnubu, that he botched the investigation that Malamu told him to do about Thiefnubu, because the effort is to see how they can stop Thiefnubu from getting the ticket of APC. It was so coordinated, and this El-Rufai was part of the whole plan. It was totally part of the whole plan. And I think Thiefnubu knew as well. Maguluta Crook was called to the villa, and he was locked in the villa's prison in Abuja for more than 6 months before they gave it to that other guy that they also kind of like arrested as well. But before then, Thiefnubu seems to have like already built a ring around them. So all these were ongoing until, surprise, surprise, El-Rufai, Patawale, or El-Rufai of Kaduna, Patawale of Zamfara, Yeye Bello of Kogi, and maybe one or two others that told Bokwari to change the money in order to further weaken Thiefnubu from buying election. Boom. They just made this 360-degree U-turn. They sued Bokwari that he can't change money. The deadline of changing money is wrong. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, they took Bokwari to Supreme Court, including the Central Bank of Nigeria. Meanwhile, they were those behind it. In a public show of support to Thiefnubu, suddenly they're just like on the side of Thiefnubu. And that was why Thiefnubu drafted him and others into his campaign so as to say, I have forgiven all of you. Because what Thiefnubu did was to give 100 million naira to 23 people to go and buy presidential form of APC. That's why you had about 30 or 31 people who bought APC form for president. Thiefnubu alone bought 24 of those forms. 100 million naira. So it was like a change of heart. And they started supporting Thiefnubu, in case you have forgotten.
Is confused. No, it does not. First, let me say that this is a policy of the PDP. Emefiele was appointed central bank governor by the PDP originally. So let's not forget where he came from. And he's the one that put this policy together to help the PDP win the 2023 general elections and deceive the president into thinking that it is possible to withdraw 2 trillion naira from circulation and reprint everything in 3 months. No country in world history has done it. He deceived the president. He gave the president wrong information. And the Attorney General, unfortunately, we have to claim that one is from our party, supported this policy. And we know why. Go and look at the antecedent. These are people that wanted to run for president or governor in our party and didn't make it. This is their revenge plan. But the Supreme Court justices today have shown that this is a policy against the people of Nigeria and is invalid. So let's not go back to what has happened last week. The election is over. Our candidate has won in spite of the obstacles. But for us, what is important is that ordinary Nigerians, traders, farmers, and businessmen can now move on with their lives. Go to your bank and collect all your money today. You have the right to do so by the order of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
How optimistic are you that the federal government will obey this directive by the court?
Whether the federal government obeys the order or not is up to the federal government. But I know President Muhammad Buhari very well. Part of the reason why I convinced my colleagues to go to the Supreme Court is because we are among the closest governors to the president. And we wanted to show him, if those closest to you disagree with you so publicly on a matter of policy, you need to reflect on it. Okay? President Muhammad Buhari is a man that obeys the law. He may have been misguided by his advisors, but now that the Supreme Court has spoken unequivocally, I am confident that all the orders will be complied with.
I mean, what is the change of hearts all about? The Kaduna delegates voted for Rotimi Amechi. I don't know if some of you remember that Amechi came second. Amechi scored over 200, was it over 200 or 300 delegate votes? So where is that change of hearts came from? Some people may think Thiefnubu was a brilliant, genius politician that renegotiated. No. Something went down that even Thiefnubu knew, and he was only waiting for the time to deal with the Hell-rufire. Here you get, they were the brain behind it. They were the ones who advised Bokwari They were the ones who sent Emefiole, Malamu. They are all closer to Bokwari. They agreed to do this in order to stop Thiefnubu. They said the security report on Thiefnubu is that they cannot sell him. And Thiefnubu, being a criminal, a druggie, their party can never win any election. They knew it, but somehow that was changed last minute. And they made it public. Yeah, you see, all of us who are very close to the president, we are now against him publicly. Yeah. So Thiefnubu quickly just dragged them into his campaigns, knowing that El-Rufai is the arrowhead of it. When Thiefnubu was going to Chatham House in December 2022, El-Rufai was actually given a role to answer questions for Thiefnubu. I don't know if you remember that. We don't have time. I can't show you all of that, okay? But I'm giving you all this flashback so that you can know or have an idea of the genesis to the revelation of the journey of El-Rufai in Thiefnubu's political emergence today. And it's like he's a dribbler who dribble everybody, and they can't dribble himself to throw in. A waste. That's exactly what El-Rufai is. But let's leave El-Rufai for a sec and go to that of Reno Mockery. For 8 years, Reno Mockery, when they're assembling identity thief, who decided to exile himself from Nigeria because he believed that Bokwari's regime was going to jail him. I don't know what he did, but he believed that. So he stayed away. Okay? And there was nothing he didn't say about APC. There was nothing he never said about APC. He got recruited, or maybe he recruited himself. I think he got recruited by Atiku. Atiku recruited him in 2017. Was giving him money, you know, as a useful tool for Atiku 2019. So that didn't work. So Reno Mockery extended his life in exile by another 4 years. So by 2022, it became obvious that it was going to be Thiefnubu versus Atiku, and then versus Obi. So, on the part of Atiku, Reno Mockery saw himself a pathway, not only to return to Nigeria, but possibly to return to Aso Rock as a media aide. Who knows? So he had to show workings, all right? To the point that when other relevant people made revelation about Thiefnubu's drug dealings, his certificate forgery, and the rest of that, Reno Mockery jumped on it. He made himself, you know, a man at the center of it all, like he's doing investigative journalism. At the point, he actually did make a video. He made a lot of video. He made lots of videos, okay? But this one stands out, talking about Thiefnubu.
Like I told you, the man at the center of Bola Tinubu's Wike heroin drug cartel has died. I mean, the death was just mysterious. You know, he was said to be on the roof of his house, and then he fell down and he died. I mean, just look at that. A week ago, this 52-page document came out from the Chicago court exposing his name, exposing the fact that he was at the center of the Wike heroin drug cartel, and that Bola Tinubu was the launderer of their monies. And then all of this information came out. The media has been looking for him, trying to investigate him, trying to talk to him and get his own side of the story. And all of a sudden, just last night, he dies. I mean, it is too convenient. Mathematically, this coincidence is just impossible. Look, Nigerians, especially the media, we have to go back to the circumstances surrounding the death of Funsho Williams. Because it's just similar. This was a man who was in opposition to Bola Tinubu, Funsho Williams, and mysteriously he died. Men went to his house and then they shot him. And then in this other instance, you had a situation whereby a man mentioned in court documents as being the leader of Bola Tinubu's white orange drug cartel just dies mysteriously just last night, November 16th, 2022. I mean, look. Nigerians, something is fishy. This is classic drug cartel behavior. This is classic Delegiwa behavior. This is what happens in Panama, what happens in Colombia, what happens in drug cartel territories in Mexico. We cannot allow this to happen in Nigeria. We need to find out why. What are the circumstances leading to this man's death? Because this is not a coincidence at all. Bola Tinubu has questions to answer. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
God bless you. That's Reno Mockery. He was in London. I mean, see, there is what do you call it? I think there's level to some criticism, okay? I call Thiefnubu druggie. I call him drug addict. I call him drug heroin trafficker and all of that. These are facts. You understand that? They are like court documents referencing all of this. I call him a certificate forger, and I also call him a treasury looter. These are facts. When Thiefnubu they pee himself that time, right? We saw that, and you know, Reno Mockery went like to the gutters in all the things he said about Thiefnubu. Oh my God. Some of them, like, you can even feel like, oh, Moaba, this is too much. Oh. Yeah? But he had to walk back on all of his sayings, okay? I think I have some here. Take a look at this one. There is one when Thiefnubu's, he talked about Thiefnubu's teeth, right? So let us face facts. Look at the state of Thiefnubu's teeth. Look at the state of his urine-soaked agbada. How can a man with such poor personal hygiene be entrusted with the fate of 200 million Nigerians? Okay. And Atole will be our president with question mark. Nitori Kini. With question mark. Did they cause us? In London, on the 5th of December 2022, he was there shouting. But Thiefnubu will never forget the protest we just pulled off. Chatham was in his life. He was disgraced and could get out of his, could not get out of his car. He had to run away. The harassed Thiefnubu out of London protest against drug lord Tinubu at Chatham was a resounding success. The British media were there, and Thiefnubu was projected to them for what he is, a known drug lord. Do you get that? Like, it was that. You know? But today, Reno Mockery is fighting Hell-rufire. Okay? Like, he's just saying all we kind of already knew about Hell-rufire, by the way, but he's doing so in defense of Thiefnubu. He returned back to Nigeria after 10 years in exile. He finally returned back to Nigeria, wearing agbada, ashoke, and this and that. He went straight into the asshole rock because, yeah, Thiefnubu told him he could come back. And why is that? Because immediately the Supreme Court's ruling that validated Thiefnubu's illegitimate government, a man that Reno once praised like this, right? He just started attacking him, Peter Obi.
That built up Anambra State. You know, Anambra State used to be almost educationally disadvantaged. And then in less than 2 years, he brought them to be number one. He left that state with a reserve. Look, we need people like this. I'm so proud of Governor Obi. I listened to him today and, I was touched. Like, do we have fellows like this in Nigeria? I'm very proud of this man. Look at everything that he has touched. He made money for himself in the private sector. He made money for Anambra State in government. Anambra State doesn't borrow money. Are you aware of that? These bailout funds that the current administration is giving states.
Because he met with Peter Obi in London. And this was when Buhari was destroying Nigeria. In exile, that's where he met Peter Obi. And I'm so proud of him. Then, I don't know, from nowhere, he just started using Obi as a point of contact. He just started attacking the Igbos. Okay? It was the one blowing the dog whistle that obedience are Igbos. That when you see obedient, even when the obedient will go there and say, me, I am obedient, I'm from Kaduna, me, I am obedient, I am from Lagos, I am obedient, I am from Ogun State, I am obedient, I am from so and so. No. It was playing this tribal, ethnic, baiting cards online. Okay? He was calling the Igbos, the Southeasterners, all kinds of names using Peter Obi as a point of contact. Then he got a call from the villa that he could come back to Nigeria. So he went back to Nigeria, which is now like a validation that you are doing a good job. Well done, bro. Well done. So Mr. President is very proud of you. So when El-Rufai said Thiefnubu is arrogant, for ignoring the advice of the people, that he should not Yorubanize his government when he's giving the political appointment to the Yorubas, this and that, Reno Mockery took it upon himself to reply, Hell-rufire. He said he's a loser, he's a sore loser. Because Thiefnubu didn't give him appointments. That's why El-Rufai want to turn himself to opposition, criticizing, and all of that. So since yesterday, it's been between these two personalities. Meanwhile, just about 3 days ago, Reno Mockery made a video telling everybody that Thiefnubu is like this American president, that American president that no matter what anybody does, Thiefnubu is going to do his 8 years. In 2027, no opposition can remove him, this and that. And he probably felt like he had in that video. Let me share it with you. His projection for Thiefnubu.
A lot of people have enemies, and they maintain that enmity, they nurse that grudge, they keep up that fight, that quarrel, and they don't realize that too often it's a sign of low emotional intelligence. You see, people who are highly emotionally intelligent, what they do is that accept an enmity is for maybe an existential issue like faith. For instance, maybe you have a situation with the Jews and with some Arabs that, okay, we believe diametrically opposed things and we want diametrically opposed things. And so, there's very little chance of us reconciling, except maybe we have a two-state solution. If you are in that situation, then maybe it's a bit different. But where you are, the enmity arose as a result of something like maybe a competition for a resource or a post, or maybe it was just out of a war situation over, like maybe struggle for some land or whatever it is. You can reconcile with your enemy. It doesn't make you a hypocrite or your enemy a hypocrite. It just makes you a highly emotional, intelligent person. If you look, for example, at the Second World War, the United States fought the war and they had allies. Their biggest ally, of course, was the United Kingdom. And then they also had other allies. They had Canada, they had some countries in the Commonwealth that fought with them. And who was their foe? Who was their enemy? On the other side, you had the Axis powers. You had Germany, you had Italy, and you had Japan. Now, if you look today at the United States, who are their biggest trading partners? And and I encourage you to fact check me. If you go online, you see that America's biggest trading partners, number 4, Japan. Number 5, Germany. Now, so these are the countries that they fought with. Now, what about their allies? The United Kingdom is actually number 7. So in the United States, there are more goods from Japan and Germany than there are from their ally, their former strongest ally of whom they had a special relations, England. So look at that. They've been able to overcome the enemy because it was not for an existential issue. It was just they were fighting over resources. And also, I'll give you a very good example. If you look at the 1980 US election, if you go back to 79 when there was the primaries for the Republican nomination for presidency, you had a very huge struggle between Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Eventually, Ronald Reagan got it, but it was a very nasty, bitter struggle. But Reagan's advisors told him, if you want to win this election against an incumbent, Jimmy Carter was the incumbent president, you've got to unite the Republican Party. And the only way you can do that is to take the second runner-up, or rather the first runner-up in the primaries. And that's how George Bush ended up as his running mate. And together, they defeated the incumbent. So when you understand that, you try to reconcile with enemies. It helps you achieve your goals better. If you look at scripture, even in the spiritual side of things, who was the most successful evangelist in the New Testament? It's going to be Paul. I mean, that's undisputable. It's going to be Paul. What was Paul to Yeshua, whom you call Jesus? Some people call him Jesus. Some people call him Isa. He was an enemy. But Yeshua was able to convert him from an enemy and into a friend. And because of that, Paul became so successful as an evangelist. When you have friends, for example, your friends are likely to rely on their relationship with you, the emotions, the sentiments. They are more likely to take you for granted. But a former enemy, a former foe is less likely to do that because they know their history with you. They've got a lot to prove. You've got a lot to prove to them. They've got a lot to prove to you. And so you guys work better. Enemies that you've won over to your side are more reliable than friends. And that is why I am convinced that the president of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is going to be re-elected in 2027. I'm so sure of it for God to spare his life, and that's what we pray. As long as God spares his life, he's going to be re-elected because he is an expert in that. He knows how to turn former enemies into friends. And he knows how to work with them because the issue that he has with them and that they have with him are not existential issues that, they are going to depend or determine the fate of this world and then your fate in the afterworld. No, they are just issues. I want to be president and there's only one president at the time. You want to be president. You didn't get it. I got it. Okay, so now I've gotten it. Now, you cannot be president for the next 4 years. Let's work together. He has that ability to do that, and not just with people who ran, against him, with people who were against him, so that ability, and very few leaders had that. General Babangida had that because he had this ability to get people who were his critics, who were his enemies, and work with them.
Do you understand where that is going? Yeah, he had to explain to his followers all the time, like, listen, Thiefnubu knows how to use his enemies. Okay, he knows, and if you want to go far like that, you can convert your enemies to your friend because they have a lot to prove to you. Reno Mockery has a lot to prove to Thiefnubu. Do you understand? Like, he's the one who has to prove to Thiefnubu that he is loyal. Thiefnubu doesn't have to do anything. Similarly with Bulaba, Dani, And it's true, if you read the 48 laws of power, right? They say, bring your friends, keep your friends close, and keep your enemies closer. Something like that. Because they have a lot to prove to you. Okay? But that is the line of argument that people like these jobbers always give. It's to let you know that we criticized you, we called you names. We don't mean all those things. In fact, we actually admire you. Okay? And we are ready to prove it to you. If anybody say anything about you, we are ready to counter them. You don't need to give us anything. Don't give me anything. Don't worry. Don't give me appointments. I don't want appointments. I don't want anything. But I am ready to prove it to you. But if you give me any role, you can give me any role, I can prove further. But I'm not saying you should give me anything. No. Do you understand? And that's exactly what they believe makes Thiefnubu a genius. Not them being people with no principle, men with no scruples. Do you understand? Men who stands for nothing. A fair weather man. Those who are like a fair weather. Anywhere belly face. They have no principle. They have no integrity. They stand for nothing. They are the loudest as well. Yeah, they are the loudest. And all it takes is just to offer them something. They will switch aimlessly, and they will begin to eat their own vomit. And they will tell you that they are doing so simply because this person has shown that he is a leader. And everything else we know about him doesn't really matter. Forget about that. Not many leaders who, because this person is ready to forgive us. And that is why he is now the one that is now tackling El-Rufai. And El-Rufai himself is a man with no principle, no integrity, no nothing. He will do anything and everything. He will say anything just to kind of feather his own nest. And if he loses out, he will begin to steal the milk until he gets the attention. He is ready to burn down the entire house if he can't have his way. There are people like that, men with no principle, no integrity, no nothing. I think he told one of these, he told Solomon Lalong, where he said he told him that immediately he finished his tenure as a governor in Kaduna, he is no longer seeking any public office. He said he told him, but he was surprised that he allowed himself to be used by Thiefnubu and dumped. In a program with Sheung Kimbaloye 2 weeks ago, Lalong had this to say about El-Rufai, Thiefnubu, and the opposition.
El-Rufai, I expected him to have been smarter politically than what happened to him. When he concluded his tenure, towards the end of his tenure, he made up his mind not to hold any public office. But Tinubu went to Kaduna at an economic summit and lured him. And El-Rufai knew that he is smarter than almost every other person. He knew himself well. He knew even his intrigues. He knew his controversial disposition. So he couldn't have given into that because he was lured into so that he can be humiliated the way he did. And if I were in his shoes, even if today even Angel Gabriel is accompanying Tinubu to pacify me, to serve in his government, I will not. You know why? If I dare make that mistake, they will nominate me, and then when they go to the National Assembly, they will raise security reports and declare me a terrorist. And that will be over. So El-Rufai made the greatest respect for the mistake which intelligent people shouldn't have done. He should have remained with his decision. And today, he could have had more strength to be able to fight this government.
Well, we understand that he's playing some roles and there's some alignment and alliance with the SDP. Are you aware?
Yeah. But he's somebody they should watch out for because he has the capacity to mobilize people. And having learned his lesson, he will rather, if Atiku is not careful, El-Rufai will emerge as a political godfather for the North in 2027. Because he's not going to talk for himself, but he will galvanize that support to make sure that, he gets his pound of flesh from this government.
So is it true that there is a storm brewing? There is a coming together of some heavyweight politicians trying to form an alliance and form a very strong opposition?
There are different concentrics of mobilization against this government. The poor people themselves are one, mobilizing. The youth who are now thinking of, generational shift, not even geopolitical shift, power shift, they are also mobilizing. The politicians who, with their own interests, they're not even different. Most of Nigerian political elites are not different from these people. Because if you see what happened during Konkoso's daughter's wedding in Kano, you will know that they are the same people. Because all of them congregated there. There was nothing like Christian Muslim. Even there were Islamic clerics dining and wining together. That's the political elite. So they are now trying to come up with something again, like what happened in 2015, to now eliminate this government, and we may even run the risk. So I am of the candid opinion that the young people in this country should learn from what has happened in Senegal, what has happened in Ghana, in other countries, and let them talk to themselves.
Do you think Tinubu might be in trouble politically in 2027?
He's already in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, Tinubu is already in trouble.
How do you mean?
Tinubu's trouble is on now because if you conduct a political survey genuinely, you will discover that Tinubu's rating will be embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah.
But there are those who believe that these are tough decisions that needs to be made. They are bold decisions, audacious decisions that the government of Tinubu is making. But in all of this, there are those who say, if we don't make these tough decisions, our country will not move forward. Do you agree?
No, I disagree completely. They are not even genuine economic decisions.
Seriously?
Yeah, because there is no economic policy that has no alternative. Once you say there is no alternative, then that describes the level of mental bankruptness of your line of thought. In economics, there must always be an alternative. You see, when El-Rufai said, well, SAB was the only alternative, did it turn out to be an alternative? So these decisions that was taken by the president, they were not bold decisions at all. They were decisions of a coward who just wanted to shield himself by, throwing out, unleashing trauma on the people for him to turn around and say bold decision. What is bold in it? If he was that courageous, he was expected to have prosecuted the 16 companies, oil companies, inducted by the National Assembly, where two of them, Eagle Oil and Rano, came out and said, we have not collected a dime from subsidy. The 14 did not say anything. A courageous Nigerian leader, after inauguration, should start from there, not withdrawal of false subsidy.
But the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, for example, has accused you of making baseless remarks against the Tinubu's administration to incite protests, citing your failed 2023 House of Representatives bid and attempts to regain ministerial role. How do you respond to these claims? Are your criticism driven by genuine national interest or your personal ambition or pain of your failed political bid?
No, you see, in politics and in democracy, people are entitled to their opinions. And so I don't contest or condescend to the level of joining issues for them. They were only trying to demobilize the mobilization we had embarked upon to protest. They did everything possible.
Let's move on. And as a quick reminder, like what he said there, this was the invitation that got Hell-rufire interested in believing that Thiefnubu was going to make him a minister on record.
Nigeria needs thinkers and doers. And And that is, I'm openly begging Nasir El-Rufai not to run away for additional degree excuse. He's going to Cairo, PhD and everything. There are lots of educated relics. We are not going to let you run away. Your vision, creativity, and resiliency in turning a rotten situation to a bad one is necessary at this critical time. That is why we are here today. Dear brother Nasir, make a promise. We won't let you run away from the country. That's the only way I will leave this podium. Where is the promise? You make the promise.
I promise.
Okay. Thank you.
So that was how El-Rufai, the man that turned a rotten situation to a bad one. That's how El-Rufai believed that he was going to be a minister under Thiefnubu. Now he's now Rastafarian. If he is not singing Bob Marley song, he's advising Thiefnubu. That Thiefnubu should not be arrogant. So we are kind of monitoring the fight of these rabid dogs at Irastao, at Iraskalo. We are watching them like this. Going forward, I have heard the, what do you call it? I have heard the warning, or is it jibe, of Kwakwansop. Kwakwansop just warned Atiku Abubakar to stop lying at 80. He actually called Atiku a liar at 80. Because according to him, they said the guys around Atiku, or Atiku told the guys around him that he had assembled 45 wise men of PDP, and they are currently working to bring together the opposition under a special arrangement that he, Atiku, is very old. So he's just going to be president for 4 years. He just wants to be president for 4 years. Kwakwansop will also be president for 4 years. And then Peter Obi will be president for 8 years. Kwakwansop said he had nothing of such with him. Like he had no such arrangement with Atiku. And if anybody knew Atiku, they should tell him to stop lying. At that age, he should try to be an honest person. PDP is dead. In case if some of you don't even understand what that means politically. Politically, PDP is dead at the national level in Nigeria. PDP can't win any national election, even if they have to kind of like form alliance with anybody. They can't win anything or rig anything for them anymore. Wike still hold sway in PDP. And from what I just gathered, Wike, and his former, 5 G-string governors, okay? One of them is Soloma Kende Ibadan. They have all, Wike was said to have told one of them, which is Soloma Kende Ibadan, to go on and pledge allegiance to Thiefnubu, that the pathway to PDP recovery would be the total dismissal of Wike. And not just that, all Wike's elements in PDP must be dismissed, removed. And then, maybe that can then be a start to say they have new chairman, new national executives, okay, which can then restructure their party, put them in a good stead. There can then be a negotiation with any other political party. So for Wike and others, that is never going to happen. Forget it. They will drag it and drag it and drag it and drag it until they drag it to 2027, and then boom, you realize that they are just going to be there to help validate Thiefnubu. That is the deal. In the process, those who are PDP governors, they are spending their second term, for example, and they want to choose their own successors. They will get that. Okay, if you are PDP governor in any state, you want to choose your own successor, 2027, we'll let you have it. But you just have to delay, you have to allow us to write the result for your state. That's it, you won't challenge it. Okay? So if anybody or any group of people claim to be having a meeting with Atiku and all of this and that, right? You are practically wasting your time. Okay? With the Wikis of this world, those in PDP right now, they are the undertakers that will bury PDP eventually. I don't have solution, no. I'm just giving you the updates of what it is, and it shouldn't be hard for you. This afternoon, a guy that got declared as the authentic secretary of PDP went to Wadata House to go and resume his supposed official duty. Let me give you an example, right? So let me explain this better for you. There's a guy called Damagum. Okay? This Damagum guy is a very wicked man. Even though they have tried to they have denied that in public, but he's been the guy who has been slow or not interested in suspending Wike or dismissing him totally from the party. They are holding forth for him. They will publicly tell you that Thiefnubu is failing. Thiefnubu APC is this or that. It is just to play on your emotion. For those of you who are expecting opposition in that contraption, they're just playing on your emotion. Because the PDP governors in Nigeria, they are all in the ass of Thiefnubu politically. Okay? And the deal is that if they can get what they want, why should they stand up against Thiefnubu? Including that noise maker from Bauchi, Bala Muhammad. You see, that one is believed, by the way, that he would only support anything PDP if they will allow him to be the flag bearer, to be the next presidential candidate of the PDP. Anything different from that, everybody just maintain the status quo. So Thiefnubu will do his 8 years, but they would rather make a deal with him that allows them to choose their own successor. So as they are rigging for Thiefnubu, they are allowing them to write their own result too. Whether PDP want to be at the center or not, to hell with it, they don't care. But you see, this then the next person is the supposed PDP secretary, who is a public supporter of the Wike. They are, what do you call that thing again? They have this board of trustees. Is it board of trustees? Half of them, they are loyal to Wike. So making it difficult for their party structure to actually make a decision or take a decision against Wike. It is that bad. Don't let us do it that way. Don't let us go that route yet. Let us kind of like, they are calling Wike a credible leader of PDP. So that's why Kwakwansop was like, there's no negotiation, there's nothing going on between them all when it comes to PDP, because he said Atiku and his gang, they are looking for other political parties. What they cannot do within their own party, PDP, they are now looking for other political parties, small or whatever, right? That they can use in filling in the gap. So that, it will be like, if the PDP structure cannot be trusted, they can rely on other parties. But Atiku and his gang can believe that they are at the center, of force that do not really need all of the PDP to be on their side, as long as they have other parties like Kwakwansop Group and then maybe Peter Obi and others. So if we can have all of them on our side, we know that PDP is fractured and like that, right? But it doesn't really matter. Let's count on all these other guys. That's what Kwakwansop said. But this guy resumed today. He had this to say. He claimed to be the court authenticated secretary of PDP. Listen.
All right, my name is Right Honorable SKE Ideokwe. I am the National Secretary of PDP.
Okay, so tell us before now how you became National Secretary.
Well, the main reason why I'm here is to resume office. I'm resuming today, the 30th day of December, in obedience to the judgment of Appeal Court in Enugu that sacked the former National Secretary and made me the National Secretary of PDP. And why I came today is to, resume office and to also supervise the whole environment and make sure that things are in order. Yes, the Secretariat, the staff have gone for Xmas holidays to resume on the 13th day of January, when here will be filled up with our workers. I also wish them Merry Xmas and a prosperous New Year. I also appreciate the Governors Forum that are giving me support, the Ministers Forum, former Ministers Forum, the BOT, the members of the party, the leaders of the party from my zone who nominated me and stood by me, even though there are so many challenges before, but the court has fixed it and made a pronouncement on the 20th of December 2024. Thank you very much and God bless you. I'm rushing to a meeting now. I want to go and have some serious meeting with some of my colleagues, the NWC members, who are waiting for me in our scheduled venue for a meeting now. So I'll talk to you later. All the talks will not finish today. By the next, I will be the one to call you people to come for us to exchange views. Thank you, and God bless every one of us, and bless our good party. Thank you very much. All right, man.
So if you ask that, okay, who is the chairman? Who are the other members of the neck of PDP? You realize that they are neither here nor there. So everybody is just like scattered all over the place. But let's leave that too, because of our time. the crooked Kyari, his tenure as the NNPC chairman ends in 4 months from what we have heard. And the guy has dropped in another, another lumber. Warri Refinery is now working. But he quickly said, hey, now only 60% of it is working. From the gathered information, they said, okay, the refinery is distributing, or will be distributing kerosene and diesel, not petrol. So you're supposed to be 3 phases, okay? 125,000 barrel of, 125,000 barrel a day refinery. So Kyari, like he did in Port Harcourt, is Port Harcourt refinery, where imported the refined products is being blended in Port Harcourt, but they claim that the refinery is producing when it is not. So it took the media, I mean, we have evidence as well, where they supposed the pipeline that was supposed to be taking the crude oil to the Port Harcourt refinery is broken, not working. So does that mean that they are pumping the crude oil into a tanker and they are taking it into the refinery in Port Harcourt, offloading it into the refining equipment, and then they started refining? But we shall know the scam behind that. Okay? So it seems that it's being replicated in Warri as well. They are telling people that it's only 60%, not yet fully. Listen.
Okay, gentlemen and ladies, we are taking you real into our plant. The MD will lead the team. No, not for. This is just addressing. Not for camera. Yes, plant, you see reality yourself. This plant is running. We have not completed 100%. We are streaming the other part of the plant as we progress. But currently, this plant is running, and you see what is happening. And we are bringing product into the market. There are many people who don't think this is real. As you all know, a lot of media comes all over the place that people don't believe real things can happen in our country. We believe that this is pride for our country, and all of us have a stake, including media people, on this, so that this country becomes a greater place, and it is already happening. I just want you to know that everything you see is real, and then we will tell you about the technical part of it. And I would like to thank you for coming. I think that's the bottom line. And our chairman of the board of directors is here, our regulator is here. They are all involved in the process of bringing this plant up. That's what. I just wanted to know this. His staff and his personal involvement, we'd like to thank him specifically for this. I must congratulate our team for their determination, their extreme belief that this company can restart this plant. And this has brought this result on the table in collaboration with our contractors and everyone in the company, including our entire staff. I would like to thank them and appreciate them that we have made history, that it is possible to start a plant that you deliberately shut down. It is possible, and we approve this. Also, secondly, this plant has 3 stages. We have started the plant 1, which is, we call it area 1, the first plant. It is able to produce AGO, kerosene, naphtha, and also a blend of fuel oil. And these are high-grade quality products that are required in the country, and we may also have a need to export them. So it's going to give us cash. This company will make money, and the promise of Mr. President that this country must be a net exporter of petroleum products is already happening. Some of these products will go to the international market, and I would like to thank all of you. But more importantly, I must put on record that Mr. President's honorable belief that we can get this to work, that we can get these plans to start, and giving us the charge that we must start all 3 refineries. It's already happening. We have successfully started the Patronage refinery, the 60,000 barrels per day oil refinery. We have started the area 1, the first class, the Warri Refinery. The other plants that will produce PMS are being streamed, and they will also come live. And lastly, Kaduna is also on stream. We are not going to give you this, but we'll surprise you as well as we said the other time. Kaduna will start. And thank you very much all. Thank you, sir.
Or more APC. That's the working refinery. A refinery that is refining crude oil. But it clearly stated that they are not doing PMS, only diesel, naphtha, kerosene. It's one part that is working now, and that one part is 60%. How can one part of a three-part refinery that is working, how can one part be 60% of the whole? But the question people are asking is that it's been over a month now that they said Port Harcourt refinery has been working. How come the price of petroleum is yet to go back to maybe 200 naira per liter? Or it is just the Sakama and J that will likely expose them and expose their liquidity after importing nearly $1 billion worth of PMS from Malta in the month of August. I'm sorry, the month of October, which is on record. So if the crude oil is being taken from the backyard in Port Harcourt, it is not being bought. You are not paying anybody for crude oil. Now, don't go to the import crude oil. They pay. Abi, Port Harcourt refinery, your crude oil. Free crude oil, which is not true. Nigeria has no crude oil to refine. But APC, Egbekegbe, want you to believe that they are refining petrol or PMS in Port Harcourt. And a liter of petroleum is being sold. For how much right now? 900 and how much? 35 naira. So the marketers and you are buying it for how much? 1,020 naira. How much? If you're watching me from Nigeria, how much is a liter of petroleum right now? The last one you bought. Be honest, though, because if you lie to me, you are lying to yourself. That's why APC, Egbekegbe wants you to believe everything is getting better. Your refinery is working. You are not buying the crude oil. Abi? This was supposed to be your crude oil. But the truth is that Nigeria don't get any crude oil to refine. See, 1,110 naira. 1,020 naira. Okay, if you go to an NPC, you buy it for 920 naira. Be honest, though, I'm talking about the one you bought, not the ones they sold to, because I know they are selling it for 935 naira to the marketers. You don't need to make up the figures. Don't worry. If you are not watching me from Nigeria, that's fine. You don't need to guess. I'm talking to those who are watching from Nigeria. How much is a liter you bought? At least you are buying right now. Fair enough. APC, Ekbekebe is telling you that there is no queue. Right? December, no queue in the petrol station. There is availability. Dangote is selling. NNPC is selling. Apart from Dangote, they refined his own locally. Whatever NNPC is distributing, they imported it. They did not refine it in Nigeria. Do you understand? I am asking you right now, if they are actually refining your crude oil as they claim, they didn't buy it. It's just like, because it's an allocation. The agreement they have with the IOCs, international oil companies in Nigeria, is that they will give Nigeria 300,000 barrels every day. That's the agreement, 300,000 barrels. But Bokwari don't use the 300,000 barrels to borrow money. It is the Afrexim Bank that is taking the crude oil, not NNPC. Just so you know, NNPC is not collecting any crude oil anywhere. That's why they couldn't give Dangote any crude oil. Despite the fact that Thiefnubu ordered them to give Dangote crude oil, they don't get crude oil to give. But their propaganda is so strong. The majority of you really wanted it to be true. You want that lie to be true. Anybody telling you otherwise, that person is enemy of progress. That person is somebody who doesn't want Nigeria to work. And yeah, 975. Because Dangote is selling his own right now for 925 Naira or something to marketers. And depends on your location. So they are not buying the crude oil. If they want to help you, it's been over a month now, or nearly a month, that they claim that the Port Harcourt Refinery is working. And according to them, Port Harcourt Refinery was supposed to be producing at least 14 million liters. I mean, is it 14? Yeah, 14 million liters every day. So by now, you should have had their supply everywhere. And the crude oil that they didn't pay for, they are not even spending money to extract it. They are just supposed to be giving it to them. But don't worry. The scam run itself. And he has his own audience, the moguls. So the point here is this. If you have these refineries, if they are working for real, okay, it should automatically crash the price. Stop listening to this APC, Bekebe online sellers. These are a bunch of low lives. Some of them are paid to push these lies by telling you that there is competition between Dangote and them. There is no competition between them at all. You know, they are running a scheme, a scam that they can't sustain. You're running a lie that you can't sustain. Because the real thing that should have happened was that if you have refineries that is producing 40 million barrels or 40 million liters every day, that's a lot. Free crude oil. You can crash the price. Or maybe they just don't want to crash it because of Dangote. Maybe that's going to be the new excuse. But put it aside, that's a worry. So, but that one is not producing a PMS. Thiefnubu and his gang, in their 2025 budget, they have a benchmark of a 1,500 Naira to $1 exchange rate. And he also said he is planning to reduce the inflation from 35% or 36% to 15%, meaning he is planning to reduce it by 21%. Wow, 21% inflation. That's how much Thiefnubu is planning to reduce your inflation from, right? But today, a Naira to Naira to $1 is now 1,812 Naira to $1 in the parallel market. And it's not even the end of the year yet. So what that simply means is that by the time you get to January, and I just got back, those who visited Nigeria move back to where they come from, you know, and then it becomes a carnival to Batikaloju everybody, right? All the lies you were told, all the fake promises they made, right? The propaganda can't fix economy, okay? Though they will still tell you that it is Thiefnubu's reform. 1,800 Naira, businesses will struggle and die. But that's not how Wale is seeing it. This, this low quality Minister of Economy or Minister of Finance in Nigeria, a low-brain scammer, a fraud.
On the economic diplomacy, the incisive, robust, and of course, exhaustive economic diplomacy that His Excellency Mr. President has carried out around the world, on all the continents, whether it's South America, Brazil, whether it's Asia, China, India, Europe, Germany, France, everywhere. It was in continuation as a follow-up to ensure that the inroads and successes that he has made with, in this case, in Saudi Arabia, the burgeoning developing relationship with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. You all know, and we all heard, that Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Agricultural Livestock Investment Company, has just around the 23rd of December increased its investment in Olam by a $1.2 billion additional investment. So it is that type of transaction that Mr. President has taken the steps of stabilizing the Nigerian macroeconomic environment to encourage such and to attract such. And of course, that is an example of the success of the strategy followed by Mr. President. What we have brought back is foreign exchange. What we have brought back is jobs for Nigerians. If you look at the demographics of Saudi Arabia, to the extent that they are investing abroad, they are not going to be exporting their people. They're not like some of the other big populous countries of Asia. So clearly, where they invest, that is jobs for Nigerians. So that's the simplest way I would put it. Of course, the Olam transaction was a long time in the works. It was first discussed, I remember, or we first discussed it at the first business council last year that was held in Saudi Arabia. But once again, the simplest way to put it is that the proof of the pudding is definitely in the eating. And when you see jobs being created, foreign reserves of Nigeria being added to, that is success that all Nigerians can understand, notwithstanding the fact that Mr. President is keen and is committed to reducing inflation, particularly food inflation, making food more affordable and available. We're in the middle of tri-season farming. Every effort is being made to ensure that we have a bountiful dry season harvest. We bring down the price of food, we bring down inflation, the cost of living for the
Saudi Arabia invested in Holland. That is also what Thiefnubu wants to see in Nigeria. It will create jobs. Dry season farming. Ask them. Last year, they said Thiefnubu was going to cultivate 10 million acres of land. 10 million acres of farm. December, 2024 will finish tomorrow. Does anybody know where the farm is? Thiefnubu's federal government farm. Where are they going to harvest the food from? The food that is going to reduce the food inflation next year. Where are they going to harvest that from? Is that an imaginary farm? Eh? Just believe them. That's the point to say. Just believe us. We know what we are doing. You need to just trust us. All right? And by December 2025, they will tell you to give them time till 2026 as well, because the reform is just coming together. The whole reform is just a reform by you, like on go chop propaganda. propaganda, them are yoku. You can go get belle. You get like propaganda, we can't give you belle. It could be like say you get a kwashoko, ongani. Your head go big, your neck go tiny, your stomach go big, your body go tiny, your arms go tiny, your legs go tiny, or you go get belle. Say what you they chop. You go to tell them say na propaganda with the chop for this country. If you are hungry, they go feed you propaganda. And if you dare ask them that what the hell is this, they will call you enemy of the contraption. You know? Well, I still have a few other things to share with us before we call it a night, okay? But here is one. One of the videos that are trending right now in Nigeria is that of Wike. It's quite symbolic as well because he seemed to have caused himself in that clip. If causes actually really do work, right? Then in what Yoruba say called if you be like the cost, the worry with the Wike. Here. Warri Wike was bashing the orderlies yesterday. He said a lot. However, people now pulled out the clip where Warri Wike was eulogizing the orderlies and how they helped him politically to save him, by the way, in his own words, that the day he rises up against the orderlies, that he should never be happy. He should die as an unhappy man. In his own words, guys, watch this.
In 2004, that time the husband was the governor. So she was going to Bori camp for women empowerment. I was to run for my second tenure as chairman of my local government. Maybe you should forget this. I want to remind her today. Now, they were having lunch with the husband and the former state party chairman then, Prince Uche Secondus. And I was told that my name has been removed in the list. So I ran down to government house. Then she had finished her own lunch and left the husband and was entering the vehicle. I said, Mommy, I'm finished. She said, what happened? I said, I removed my name. She ran back straight to the husband. So what happened? The husband said, what is the problem? My son said, I removed your name. He said, who removed his name? At that time, Secondus had left. Then the husband now called the security at the gate, stop Secondus, he should come back. And Secondus came back. That was how I went back as second time chairman. For me, I can't talk about my growth without mentioning her. Well, if she was not around that day to see the governor, it was not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. So, I've been around that particular day, saved my career in politics. You know, once you leave office, everyone's leaving you. And so that was how I grew from there to become what I am today. Who were those who behind it? Very good. See, I don't know the day I will die. But I know I will die one day. But the truth must be told. Any day that I will make Dr. Giri and his family to cry, God, don't allow me to grow. These people suffered
These people suffered blackmail, everything. Because of some people like us. Sir, I want to tell you today. I want to tell you today before people here. I will never be alive to make you cry on your wife. I will never do it.
Will never be alive. Sir. Today, I will never be alive to make you and your wife to cry. Obo, that was about 2 years ago. You know? And just yesterday, Wike has forgotten that.
He said presidency. Who is not having the presidency? His wife is chairman of government council. His daughter is commissioner. His other is a judge. He now is the general overseer. So who is now taking the state and the president? I'm sure. If they are not taking, I'm sure. If there's any hope, they can even arrange a marriage for the government. I can tell you that. If I tell you how the daughter became a commissioner, you'll be shocked. You are here. I'm Muslim. It was his nephew, the senior son, that was recommended to that commissioner. You know what he had to do? Oh no, let's look at our sister. Look my sister. He said, I was thinking and I elder sister who they have nominated their nephew, their senior son. I thought you had said, no, please. This is my nephew. It's my senior brother son. My senior brother just died. So I'm their father now. They do it. I get to do that.
Wike. So we call him Wike. Is a complete mental. And if you know how many people that are waiting for what is going to be his end, I mean, like Wike's end, because the only lifeline he has right now is that Thiefnubu made him a minister. If anything should happen, that they drop him, Wike is finished. Like Sefene kind of finished. And there are people waiting to see that happen. You know? I don't know, maybe it's never going to happen. Because if governance is about the people and the people have a say, you know, the likes of Wike probably will never wield the kind of influence they wield. Similarly, right? It's not just the political class. Even the traditional stools in Nigeria has become so compromised. So recently we have been having this back and forth arguments of Sharia in Yoruba land. And yesterday I told you that as Yorubas, we know we have political obas in Yoruba land, okay? We have extremists in Yoruba land, Islamic extremists in Yoruba land as well. But they've never had a chance of being in the majority, okay? And they are still hoping they will because they are already threatening us, you know, like this one.
ló fi jẹ́ pé ẹni tó bá bú ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ìdájọ́ rẹ̀ inú ìyà àtayé tí ó jẹ ni kí wọ́n pa so bí wọ́n bá bú ànábì àfi kẹ́yìn ó kú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bí wọ́n bá bú àfi kẹ́yìn ó kú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni so torí ẹ̀ anybody mọ wọn ara rẹ̀ má bú ànábì sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mọ́ sọ̀sọ́kúsọ ń pa ànábì ìdájọ́ ẹni tó bá bú ànábì ikú ni.
látòní ìlà wa náà ó sì kí ni a dìde a gbìjà Ọlọ́run ẹ̀sìn tàwa sọ pé ká máa gbìjà Ọlọ́run kí la jẹ́ mùsùlùmí sí kí ló ní a máa sìn sí kí ló ní a máa tẹ̀lé.
So the first guy said that the punishment for insulting the Prophet Muhammad, is death. Do you understand? Like death, if you insult the prophets, it's either they kill you or you kill them. That's the judgment, because they have to stay there and kill you, or they will die there. These are the extremists. Okay? I'm not encouraging you to insult anyone's religion and what have you. Sure, you get my hand. But when you listen to guys like that, the other one said, as from today, they are now going to be fighting for their God. I said, why do you have to fight for God? Like, bro, why? Why do you want to fight for? To prove that you have God? You want to fight for God? When it turns to you to fighting for yourselves, you will leave the fight for God. This is typical of Nigerians, okay? And I think this is what do you call it, in context, right? It is not same with the two religions, okay? But there are others too who are like ready to fight for God. They'll tell you they are fighting for God. But when it is time for them to fight for themselves, they will leave the fight for God. So we leave it for God. God will fight for us. So fight for yourself too. Use that same energy. Why do you want to fight for God? Why? I mean, there are over 6,000 different gods in the world, in case if you don't know. There are over 6,000 religions. And every one of them believe that their own God is the right God. Just so you know. So, but why do you want to fight for God? I don't know. I mean, it's part of the stuff I kind of like always ask myself. But it's been that level of violence that some of these extremists have been waiting to unleash. But because of the way Yoruba land is sort of structured, right? Your extremism or extreme views, they will remain inside your compound, inside your family house. If you bring it outside, you will be matched with the same level of violence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. In Yoruba land, okay, nobody has that monopoly of violence. Okay, forget about all this social media rant and what have you. Okay, if you bring out your what have you, if you bring out your violence to that you want to kind of unleash it on people in the name of fighting for prophets, or you are fighting for Allah, you will be matched with the same violence. That you will be forced to actually either run or beg. It is what it is. And that is why, and this is just how the Yoruba land is kind of like structured. So all this extreme view, all this extreme kind of like view about religion is so alien to us. Yes, you may read it anywhere that says Islam says you have to do this, Islam says you have to do that. I'm not disputing that, but in Yoruba land, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it there. So I am not going to fall for this social media kind of like comparison and the rest of that, okay? Indeed, I know when it comes to northern part of Nigeria, right? They have this large number of extremists, no doubt. When you come to Yoruba land, I'm not saying we don't have extremists too, but that your extremism, inu le yin ni, inu agbole yin ni, nínú madrasa yín ni, ní mọ́ṣáláṣí yín ló ti máa ṣe wèrè yẹn. If you bring it outside that four wall of your mosque or four wall of your house, you will be matched with the same level of violence. Like you can have the first one, oh. So nígbà táwọn yẹn bá máa regroup tó bá máa padà wá, majority yín máa sá kúrò ní mọ́ṣáláṣí yẹn. It is how the Yoruba land is. And we must ensure that these growing views of this extremism in the name of religion, we continue to educate our young people to stay away from it. Because these ones are like potential terrorists. And please, people should stop, crowning bastards as Oba in Yoruba land. You know, these are weak men that are opening the door of invasion of Yoruba land. For example, listen to this Dangbana, who is redefining what our tradition is and what our culture is. Dangbana Rashidi.
Ẹni tí ọba mọba ní fọba ṣeré ìyẹn ọba tọba mọ Ọlọ́run ọba kìí ṣe ọba tí bá ń bọ ìṣà ni ẹ ń sọ wọn àwọn ọba tí wọn bá ń bọ ìṣà yìí mí lọ ń bọ lúwo tí ń tẹrí ibà fólúwo máa gbogbo àwọn ọba yìí òṣà ni ẹ ń bọ so àyà wọn máa ń já ni. ṣàṣànù àṣà Yorùbá kọrùn ìṣe Yorùbá kọ́ nìyún àṣà ni káwa wo òfin. Kọ wọ sanya, kọ wọ làlárì, kọ wàdìrẹ, kọ jó, kọ sọ Yorùbá, kí á lùlù, ní tí ń pè lásànù, kìí ṣe ìbọ̀rìṣà yìí ṣe àṣà, kìí ṣe ìṣe ẹ̀sìn àwọn kan. Ẹ̀sìn àwọn kéékèèké kan. Nígbà wọn bá ibi tí ó bàjẹ́ ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá dé. Tí wọ́n bá béèrè nípa àṣà àti ṣe ǹjẹ́ àwọn tí wọ́n máa lọ bí àwọn babaláwo àwọn olóòṣà àwọn tí wọ́n tó ẹ pé ìpìlẹ̀ wọn ǹjẹ́ máa tí wọ́n fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti òṣèré eléré pàímọ́ òṣèré ìsọ̀lóògùn sọlá ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n ń bi léèrè àṣà àti ṣe Yorùbá tó ń bá wọn náà kàn mọ́ ní Ifá ní mọ́ yan ọba kọ́ bá kan bìrẹ̀ lé ṣé fa mú ọ ta ni máa yan ọba Olódùmarè ta ni ń pè lÓlódùmarè ẹni tó ní gbogbo odù ní olódù wọ́n ní odù fákan 16 odù fákan 256 tí máa ti ń ṣe máa ti ń yódù. Code tọ́lọ́ fi dálé ayé ní jòdù codes. And you are talking about codes. How can codes of this world be 256? How can it be 16?
Nuisance lele.
Do you understand? This is why we are saying that please stop crowning bastards as Yoruba Obas. He's telling people there that the idea of the oracle choosing a king was something that people copied from movies. That's what he said. People will say it is the oracles that chooses the king. That is nonsense. That all that one are just idea that people copied from movies. You know, they're like, doing their rituals, sacrifices, all this. They are nonsense. That's not Yoruba culture. That's not Yoruba tradition. It is some people's religion. That's the guy that woke up and started calling himself Emir of Iwo, Dangbana Rashidi. Yeah? Oba Loud. They call him Oba Loud. He's also a drug addict as well. A fraudster, a Yahoo boy, they call him. Not they call him, he is a fraudster. How he managed to bribe those hungry kingmakers in Iwo, and immediately they made him over. He just kicked the majority of them out. He beat some of them up for daring to disobey him. Old men, he gathered them together, beat them up. So all of you making of us in Yoruba land because of your ejekuje. We hope that you'll keep learning. In Yoruba land, we are traditionalists. From this our tradition is where people got converted to Islam, got converted to Christianity, and it is not in your place to now desecrate this tradition. You don't have to be part of it. If you believe in that your religion so much, don't be a king. But unfortunately, they have destroyed all of that. They have. You will see a king. He will kneel down before Adeboye. Adeboye will put his hand on a king and is praying for a Yoruba king. Yoruba king, Ile Yoruba. Adeboye will put his hand on a king. Apart from the fact that they are useless anyway, because local government chairman, ordinary local government chairman can remove any king. When I say any, including your first class Oba, second class Oba, or third class, whoever class they put you. That's how much they have been degraded or downgraded, unfortunately. But again, to those of you extremists pushing down your nonsense Sharia in Yoruba land, you will be matched by the same violence that you probably have inside you. Because some of you you even look like, some of them look like mentally deranged people. When you listen to them, when you look at the way they talk, when you listen to them and you look at the way they express themselves when they are talking like that, you will know that they are not normal. We have always been peacefully coexisting. Practice your religion, practice your belief, and listen, there will be no Sharia law in Yoruba land. And to those of you who are saying that we are going to have Yorubanistan, you can dream on. Okay? You can dream on. There's something I wanted to say, but I'll just leave it at that. But guess what? In Anambra State, right? A Dibia built an hotel. And he invited a reverend father to come and bless it and open it. In Anambra, that is what you call peaceful coexistence. Take a look at this.
Thank you.
Yes, so native doctor completed the construction of an hotel. And on the day of commissioning, he invited the Reverend Father to come and bless it. Peaceful coexistence. The whole atmosphere, the whole sky is pretty much wide enough for every bird to fly without, flying into one another. Religion in the southern part of Nigeria is not, it's not a decider. You be whatever you want to be, whenever you want to be. Practice it and do not infringe on other people's rights. That's the southern part of Nigeria. Especially me that grew up in Yoruba land. That's how it's done. We've never had any religious crisis. None that I can actually remember in southern part of Nigeria of that contraption. But talking about crisis, okay, and religion. A lady took a member of her family and friends to the office of a pastor. And wahala yaso, wahala yakari, wahala started. What happened? The lady wanted to pay 10,000 naira tithes. But somehow she made a mistake by adding extra zero to it, making it 100,000 naira. And as a regular tithe payer in her church, he walked straight to her pastor's office. I said, Pastor, I've made mistake. Oh. I just sent 100,000 naira from my business now to the church account instead of 10,000. Here is my bank account. Please let me send the 90,000 back. And the pastor was like, God don't do any refund. God, Bawo, here is the account I sent it to. You can do a refund though. This is my business money. Oh. I only wanted to pay 10,000, not 100 though. No, God no, they do refund. And so Wahala started. Shouting match.
Me, I'm not living here without my money. That's all I know. I'm not living here without my money.
What did you say this pastor did?
I was supposed, this is my pastor. Okay. I was supposed to pay tithes of 10,000 naira. Okay. So I mistakenly added another zero, making it 100,000. And I sent to the church account. Then I immediately saw it. I told him. Daddy, please, I'm sorry. I immediately sent 100,000. Money, can you imagine?
That's theft. Yes. Honestly, that's theft.
Giving God any money.
This pastor get liver. See, this pastor get liver. The truth is, I respect men. No. Officer, we
can give me my 100,000. I'm not paying for God. I'm not paying for pastor.
I know you are angry right now. Come on, 10,000. Give her 90,000. Now your problem.
My money.
Give 90,000. Give us.
You understand? It is as simple as this.
It's as simple.
Simple. You have to listen to my own. Okay, let me see. There is always two sides of it. There are two sides of it.
Say your own side of the coin.
Listen, okay. In the book of John.
No. You guys are underrating my stand here. You are supposed to do also. You are supposed to do also. You will be putting out in this matter. I don't want me to talk.
Exactly.
Okay, madam, sorry, sir. I can't be here. You guys are
I did not bring you here.
It's not me, yes, because I want me to run in this case. So if I'm not capable, you will not put me into this case. Right now, what will happen, Mr. Man of God? What is going to happen is this. Yes. Right now, this woman has been complaining. I think, when was it said?
Almost 2 weeks ago. It's 2 weeks ago. She has been
complaining for this, that she mistakenly added a zero to the amount. See, I don't know. Wait. What I will tell you.
Has she spoken to me physically?
Okay, what I will say is Sunday.
He told his secretary not to allow me to come inside.
The money is refunded.
She has not graced my presence.
Listen, the money is refunded.
I have not graced your presence. Thank you, madam. Big 419.
So, this is the failed transaction. So I will forward the rest of it.
I don't want.
No, make me transfer.
Did you send this money to me?
I did not send it to you.
No, let's do what. Madam, don't worry. See,
look, I'm out.
She says she's not doing it again. I don't want to give God again. No. How can I pay tithes? And then things will become tighter for me. I wanted to pay 10,000. Now I sent 100,000. You have been playing me for the past 2 weeks. You told your secretary that she must not let me enter your office. Which kind of level be that? I know they pay tithe to God anymore. Give me all my money. I don't know what to say to that. I just kind of like thought I should share that part with us. Now that we're talking about religion on the side. Right. There is also a kind of like a clip that is making round. It is from Lagos. You know, there's something about Nigeria that I would love to remind you of, okay? We have a lot of poor people in Nigeria, and they are always being treated like they are the problem. When you are poor in Nigeria, you are always a suspect of everything bad. If you are in any gathering and something goes missing, even if the thief is a well-dressed, good-looking thief, or you that is poor in that gathering, you'll be the first suspect. Okay? So, last night, we can't tell what these guys did than just because they are poor. They were picked up by Kai for wandering. Wandering means that you are just going about, you have no idea, they don't have an idea of where you are going. And because of that, you are going to be picked up as a criminal. In Nigeria, like this. No, you didn't do anything, no. You just go in and just arrest him. Sir, what? What did I do? Arrest him. I didn't do anything. Yes, that's why we have to arrest you before you do something.
Hello?
Say, officer, what did I do? Nothing. Officer, what did I do now? You didn't do anything, or you're under arrest. Arrest for what? For doing nothing. You know? And then they'll take you away. I don't know if this is the right advice though, but whatever it is, please just don't try to be poor in that contraption. It's not even a good advice. It's not even like a reasonable advice, because the criminals in charge of the contraption continue to impoverish the people. So how do you then advise people to try and not to be poor when the entire system is rigged against you? The entire system is rigged against you. People are barely keeping their heads above water right now, economically. So poverty, don't be poor, is not really, it's probably not a real advice. And I don't know what to say. Because every day Nigeria happens to everyone, and he keeps claiming his victim every day. And majority of us are just, disaster waiting to happen. We're just waiting for our turn by turn. Nigeria Limited. Yesterday's survivors, they are the today's victims. Today's survivors, they are the potential tomorrow's victims. So we are all waiting for our turn in that contraption. Where it is convenient, they can then turn us into their zombies that they can use for their political advancement whenever it is convenient. Like this guy, Benjamin Kalu, in Abia, is the deputy speaker of the Nigeria House of Representatives. The same guy that once said that Buhari was the best president to have happened to Nigeria because he was the president that loved the Ndigbos. Guess what? The guy just also said that Thiefnubu is the only president since Nigeria's independence, right, that has shown interest in the Igbos when he was welcoming the alleged decampees from PDP and other political parties in Abia states. Listen to this.
The grassroots, bring them closer to the politics of development that is bringing to the people of Igbo land. They told us and they lied to us that Tinubu did not like us. We have seen as a man in Logia Boya Manante Kama, I am them umbrella, I am Lunda Suzuga, or Kama Kokama, Tunga Kama Kokama, Ebuzo de Kaiga Kapano, Mother Sunu Abari join APC, Oga Drew no Mano Totona Jesus, Oga Drew no Mana Iana Jesus. Closer to the people. The chairman that is standing beside me, a man I respect so much, a man that has took out the work in the private sector, he has been a member of APC, he's still a member of APC. I want to assure you with his partnership and his support, soon, Ndoka Gachiochi. Gonya Dolenako, Oka Gachiochi. I know you are well, Oka Gachiochi. Of our party, we welcome you. You will not take the back seats. We will position you at the front of every of our meeting and our engagement. We know you as core politicians. We have seen your faces. We know who you are. Even though standing here, we know what you are capable of doing. When this number of people left PDP, another party, and joined APC, what is left in their party? Everybody is Asia. We'll sing it one more time. On your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate, we shall stand. We shall stand. Because
your mandate, they shall stand. You can help me, okay? If you are from Igbo land, from the eastern part of Nigeria, can you please tell me one single thing that Thiefnubu has done for the eastern part of Nigeria? One single thing, like a completed road, a completed medical center, school. Wow. Political appointments, Abi. I think everybody does. Every past president gave some Igbos political appointments, Abi. Can you say one thing, just one thing that you can say, Omo, Thiefnubu is the first president to remember Igbo people since 19. But they told you that Bokwari constructed or built you the second Niger bridge. Yeah? And they love the Igbos. So I don't know. But I know he's a sycophant, okay? I know Benjamin Koolu is a criminal himself. I was just a bit curious because I don't know everything. And if you are from the eastern part of Nigeria, maybe you do know something that I do not know. So just anything. Eh? Baba, it's been 18 months. There is not a single project that has been completed anywhere by Thiefnubu. Do you know that? Not any single project for the past 19 months now. Thiefnubu has not initiated and completed any single project anywhere in Nigeria. Not a single one. Okay, Thiefnubu started something. No. Thiefnubu's regime started something. And in the last 18 months, they have finished it. Except the shitty man's house. Yeah? There's nowhere in Nigeria, not a single place, not a single thing, not even like a 1 kilometer road. And so they started a kilometer road in my area and they've completed it. Not a single one. I'll leave all of you to it. Sorry that we didn't take calls this evening, okay? I just had so much loaded up to share, and the time was just like, just goes so fast. Thank you so much for spending your evening and night here with me as we prepare for the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. So I shall, by tomorrow, I shall come here to come and give you the 2025 prophecy. I can put 1 and 2 together and tell you what to expect in 2025. Yeah, I can. And you are likely going to agree with me. Do you get that now? So I shall see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks so much for joining me. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun Diary politico. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òwúrọ̀ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràgì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lérí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ̀lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràgì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.